So I've got a special guest with me today. His name's Michael. We've come down from Wolverhampton, I believe.
Yeah.
I first spotted you a week or so ago on YouTube. Started up your own channel. Before we go any further, tell us a little bit about who you are, where you come from.
Yeah. Well, I'm just a normal guy, to be honest with you. I was born in '89, originally from the city of Bradford. A really good childhood. Parents divorced at 10. Then we moved around different areas within the Bradford area, and then at the age of went to university, did all that.
In Bradford?
No, I went to university in Leeds. I didn't finish it. I got to the third year, but I didn't do the fourth year. I went through some personal stuff anyway. And then we moved to Wolverhampton at the age of 33, and I've been there for now 2 years, but just a regular guy really, just day jobs and nothing special.
So what's your background?
What do I do now?
No, what's your personal background?
I'm a Sikh.
You're a Sikh guy?
I'm a Sikh, born to a British family, yeah. Family business was corner shop. So I bet you'll never be able to guess that, huh?
Were your parents born here?
Yeah, my parents born here. So my grandparents, both sets of grandparents, came over from India, I think either the late 50s or early 60s. But yeah, my dad was actually born in India as well. My mum, me, everyone else was born here.
Okay.
And I'm British through and through.
Now, I've been watching your channel, and what we'll do is I'll put Michael's channel in the video description. It's very important that you guys go over there, subscribe, have a look at his channel, offer him some support.
Yeah. Can I say something as well, just to cut you off? Yeah? I just want to tell all the people that I only started doing this 3 weeks ago. My first video went online 3 weeks ago. In this world, I'm in your world of podcasting, I'm a nobody. So this man has over 250,000 subscribers, and he contacted me. I think I only had 30 people. My channel with a little only 30 people, and he contacted me, and he's brought me out here, give me a chance, give me some exposure. So I do recognise that, and I think you're very honourable for that.
Thank you very much.
And I'll remember that.
No, it's all about being together.
Yeah. And me. Also, this place is beautiful.
It's lovely, isn't it?
I've never been to Brighton in my entire life, but it's beautiful. Are all the houses this big out here?
Pretty much.
Huh?
Yeah, pretty much.
You're loaded, aren't you?
Oh, I don't know about that.
Huh?
I wish
How much money have you got on your account right now? I won't tell anyone.
No, I'd like a pound less than I'd like to.
Oh, yeah? People are a bit rude, though.
What, sorry?
I said the people are a bit rude, though.
Rude?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was driving in here, I let 3 or 4 people out. Didn't say thank you or anything.
That's the south.
And it's bloody expensive.
Yeah, it's
£24 for 2 hours parking.
Yeah.
We better get this wrapped up though, because
we better do it quick.
we end up in me overdraft otherwise.
So Michael, tell us what I watched a couple of your videos.
Yeah.
And I thought, I like this guy. I like his attitude. I like what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's brave. He's being positive.
Yeah.
What is behind your YouTube channel? What inspired you to do what you're doing, and why?
Well, 2 things, or maybe 3 things. I'll start with the lessest thing first. I've always had troubles with a little bit of anxiety and getting out there and public speaking. So I did it like the third reason, well, not the main reason, was to build up my own personal character skills, right? But get more confidence. Second reason is to start a YouTube channel was something that I've lived in my head for a few years now. I've always wanted to do it, right? So I've been wanting to do it for a while, but I never did it because I just like to think about it. So I thought, I'll bite the bullet. I don't want to do these jobs anymore. And the first reason, what really got me up, nothing in life has ever got me up to do anything. I've always been normal guy, just go to work, come home, chill out. But the state of this country right now is so bad that it even got me up. And if it can get me up, it can get anyone up, because I was a couch potato. I'd come home from work, but it really got me up. And also, last year, it's me and I have 2 siblings. Last year, out of us 3 siblings, the first baby was born last year. And I feel like he's my own son. I've never felt a love like that. I don't know what it'll be like. I'm not married, I don't have kids, right? And I don't know, it's a love that I can't explain. And it's just my nephew.
Right?
It's life-changing.
It's
not even my son. I don't know what it'll be like when I have a son, but I just thought, what is it going to be like when he's 20? If it's like this now, and people are getting locked up just for making posts, right? And we can get into this later on because it really pisses me off, to be honest with you. Yeah. There's so much things I really want to say, right? And it's just disgusting the way things are going, the way people are being treated.
It's interesting that you mentioned children.
Yeah.
Because that is a trigger for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So I understand how you feel about your nephew.
Yeah.
Right? Imagine how we feel about our daughters and our granddaughters.
Of course.
So I think children are a trigger and a point of awakening for a lot of people.
Do you know what? It's disgusting. You know, now that we're talking about children, it's like, look at the crimes that people are getting put away for, right? There's people writing stuff on Twitter, they're getting how long? You mentioned it on a podcast, I think a year or something like that. But this guy, who was a BBC presenter, got 6 months, and he went home.
Yeah.
Let's just think about that. Think about the horror. Did the judge think about the children in those pictures? If you think about it, the horrors that they went through.
Yeah.
Where are they now, those children? God knows where they are. I hope they're still alive. But did he even think about that? But nah. Yeah, like, how does he get away and this other guy for writing words? It doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? They say they care about children, but it don't look like they do.
So, living up in Wolverhampton, what sort of, was there a trigger point for you? Was there a moment when you thought, I can't take this anymore, I've got to speak out? Was there any one thing, or was it a combination?
Well, actually, this
of
has
things?
been bubbling inside of me for a few years now.
Yeah.
And this country, the people say it's broken. I feel it broke a long time ago. It broke in 2020, according to me. That's my opinion. From 2020, things just changed. They went different. Like, everything changed. It's like they're trying to change our whole way of living. And since then, that was the first trigger point, but I never got up and did anything about it. But recently, I suppose it's the tyranny. It's the tyranny and all these new things that they do, like little laws, like they're thinking about this tax law now, capital gains tax if you want to leave the country. Keep your prisoner here so you can't go.
Yeah.
It's stuff like that. It's stuff like what they're teaching in schools. I don't like that. I don't like that. I think it's a very perverted society. I think it's a very degenerate society. And I think that is this country, don't forget, you know this country, yeah? Once upon, you'll know, because, you're a man of wisdom.
A man
of wisdom,
yeah,
right?
I like that, yeah.
Back then, this country had strong Christian values, right?
Yeah.
Strong Christian values. And they wouldn't dare do what they're doing now back then. But because they've lost the faith, they've took Jesus Christ out of the schools. They've took God out of the schools. And you've left with degeneracy.
Yeah.
That's my personal opinion anyway. I know the God thing doesn't
I think a lot
with
of people feel the same. I mean, you were brought up, in the 90s?
89 I was born, I was growing up in the 90s. It was the best time of my life. I don't know whether that was because I was just a child or because of the time period at the time. But we played out. Back then, rollerblades were in fashion. He's going rollerblades, or you knocked on my friend's door, wrestling, Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold Steve Austin, all these all these amazing things. And
well, I can tell you now that the 70s and the 80s were even better for me.
Yeah, I bet they were.
They were amazing.
I was saying he's like the Forrest Gump of London. He's been there at every high point of London. Like he bought one of my favourite boxes of all time, the Hands of Stone, Roberto Duran. We were talking about that. You worked you had lived a life, man. You have lived a life.
Well, that's what it's all about. You've got to try and live your life. But I think nowadays, my concern is what we face in the future, or what our children face in the future. And to a degree, I mean, look, you're still a young man. I mean, you've got, God willing, a lot of years left on this planet.
Yeah.
So where are we going to be in 10, 15, 20 years' time? I mean,
that's a funny question.
That's the fear, isn't
That's
it?
the question I had written down to ask you on mine, but I've thought about that a lot. And my personality is a little Jekyll and Hyde. So some mornings I'll wake up and I'm like, yeah, let's go. It's optimistic. Everything will work out. And sometimes you just feel like, you know what, just let it do what it's going to do. They're going to destroy it. They've got too powerful now. Sometimes I do think like that as well. So it's a bit of the two. But if we carry on going down this road of where we're going, I'm not an expert in any means. I just see what I see and I critically think about it and I make my own conclusion. If we keep going down this road, we're going to have no rights left at all. You said something on a podcast the other day which blew me away. I was preparing for this and I watched them 2 podcasts you did with Liam Tufts, who's brilliant, by the way. You said someone got locked up for anti-establishment rhetoric.
What is that?
What is that?
What is that?
What is that? What is anti-establishment rhetoric? Yeah. I called Keir Starmer a sausage. And funnily enough, what's funny is that yesterday he said, release the sausages. So I call him a sausage. Is that anti-establishment rhetoric? I don't know.
Exactly. If you moan about the
potholes
in the road, is that anti-establishment?
What is anti-establishment rhetoric?
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's pretty scary, isn't it?
That guy, yeah, makes me want to puke. He really does. Like, he's well, not just him. They're all hypocrites. They're all hypocrites. Like back in 2020, the Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
The riots that was happening, which was all a scam, by the way. Candace Owens did a good documentary on that. The person who started that over in California, the girl, she didn't put no money back into those hoods out there. She bought a mansion in an all-white neighborhood in California, so it shows how much they care. But anyway, back to the point. He was all for them riots. He was supporting that.
On the knee.
Yeah, on the knee. You know what I mean? Like,
and this isn't a racial thing, is it?
No, it's not racial.
Race,
Not racial at all. Listen, I'm white. No, I'm white. You're white. I'm brown. We're still sat here.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm from Bradford. I have plenty of Muslim brothers who've helped me in my life. So I'm just sick of the way things are going. The point I was making was he was all for them riots. And these riots, he's locking everyone up. Now, I'm not condoning riots. Riots are disgusting. Doesn't make sense to destroy your own community. It's just a stupid thing to do. But to support one and not the other.
I think what you got to do in those situations, if you're a man of the people and you're a man of integrity and more importantly, probably just common sense, you address the situation, which they did, but then you look at the root causes and the problems that the people are experiencing, because I often say this, Michael, right? It doesn't matter if someone's perception is wrong.
Yeah.
If they have that perception, they have that perception. Now, right now in the UK, everyone feels that we have a two-tier justice system. Everyone feels that we have a two-tier policing system.
Yeah.
Everyone feels that some communities are getting away with more than others. Yeah. Now, whether that's right or wrong doesn't really matter. The perception is there, and it's now deeply ingrained into society.
Yeah, of course. What actually is happening doesn't matter. It's the perception that's being created, and who creates that perception? It's media organisations. It's media organisations, and they pit people against one another. Now, I agree that some communities out there are getting away with a lot more than other communities. I mean, I'll be honest, like, white English people, I do really feel sorry for. I felt sorry for them for a while now, because they're put in such a position where they can't voice how they feel. Do you know, I feel that I could very easily sit here and say whatever I wanted, and I would feel no repercussion, right? But if you said something, you would feel all the repercussion. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I do.
And I see that, and I think other people from other minorities and faiths, it doesn't make you a sellout to say that. Do you know what I mean? You're my brother. We're both British.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So.
And that's all that counts.
That's
for me.
all that counts. Yeah. I'm British. I'm British of Indian descent, but I'm here. You're my brother. You know, these people are my brothers. Muslim British are my brothers. The ones who, you know what I mean? The ones who are doing it properly.
It's all about having a red, white, and blue heart, right?
Yeah, that's it.
That's it for me.
That's it. You know, we're all human beings. I mean, there's no need for this. Anyway, the point I was making, I think the media are culpable in a lot of this as well. So you'll have hello, sir.
Sorry to disturb you.
How are you?
Paul, just want to shake your hand.
Thank you very much.
Vlogging journalist.
Thank you very much. You are yourself, yeah? All the best, mate.
Nice to meet you.
And
anyway.
you.
Take care. Yeah, that's it, yeah. So the point that I was trying to make is that I see every British person as my brother. You know what I mean? We're countrymen. We should be close. We should be uniting, not dividing. And obviously there's people in different, you're always going to have crackpots.
Yeah.
With me, all right, I'll tell you, on Islam, listen to me, yeah? I don't think there's a problem with the religion in and of itself. I know that people will disagree with that, but just hear me out. Take your feelings and your emotion, cast them aside just for a second. There's crackpots in every single religion. And over the last 2 or 3 decades, they've made Islam the boogie. I'm not defending them. They make Islam the boogeyman for everything. And I do have concerns with Islam. I have a couple of concerns as well, which we can get into if you want. You know, they need to start speaking out more and trying to make that divide. But I don't see like what's the end game for either movement when it comes to going against each other. What makes sense to me is uniting and going against the real forces that are destroying this country. Larry Fink of BlackRock, Vanguard, companies that own trillions of dollars worth of assets on planet Earth. You know, World Economic Forum that Keir Starmer is a lackey for. You know, they want us fighting.
Exactly.
And I understand, right? There's issues. There's certainly issues, especially with drug dealing. There's issues and other things, right? Which need to be addressed. But me personally, I feel that for now, maybe we could try and unite and address those issues in a secondary way after you've taken the main problem, after you've challenged that one. But I don't know.
Look, I've always
I'm
said,
just a guy with an opinion. I don't know.
No, I mean, everyone's opinion is important. I've always said that there's a place, there is a welcome, opening place in this movement for everyone.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
All that matters is they love the country, they love, or they want to abide by the rules of the land. Yeah. The fact that we are a Christian country, basically. I mean, we're not an overly religious country, but it's about the Christian culture, I think, is most important.
Yeah, and it's like sorry, let me just make this point again, because there's something I missed out. These news companies are dividing and conquering us. It's the age-old tactic. It's worked since the dawn of time. If the people are fighting, it makes them harder to unite. They're easier to dominate. Like you have left-wing media, right? That are always pumping out white English people as far right, right? And you have right-wing news companies that are always showing Muslims. Yeah. So the left wing companies will show you white people. They're saying this guy's far right. He's a racist. When he's actually not. He has genuine concerns about his country. He's being displaced. Yeah. So why shouldn't he speak up for that? But on the same hand, I'm going to show you how we're being played. On the same hand, you'll have right-wing organisations that will show, for example, them Leeds riots. Day and night they ran stories about that, right? They showed everything that they were doing up there, right? And then they ran a story about a Leeds Muslim councillor who they said was instigating violence and calling for violence. They put a thumbnail of a screenshot of him, but then showed the video. I thought, why they showed the video? They showed the video of everything else. So I went to go find the video. He wasn't doing any of that. He was actually telling them to stop, you're damaging our community. So that is a way that we're all being played.
So you believe the media has a big role in the
which
split?
media company is centrist? Is there one?
Probably not.
No, because the left are working for someone and they're working for someone. There's no one in the centre because there's no money in peace.
That's true.
There's no money in peace.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's pure evil.
So what do you think that, in Wolverhampton, amongst your community, what is the general consensus of opinion? Take me outside of White Brighton.
Yeah.
Take me to Wolverhampton, the Black Country.
Well, to be honest, I've only been there 2 years and I'm sort of a family guy, so I don't really know that many people in the area, but I do know my work people that I work with, right? And the general consensus is I would go to work at 4 in the morning and I would leave at 4:30 in my truck. For that 30 minutes, we sat and we talked over coffee, right? And the majority of every day, we would talk about what me and you are talking about now. That is immigration. What's going on with this country?
And what's the ethnic makeup of your group?
There was like 12 drivers. There was a couple of one Muslim guy, me, another Sikh, a black guy, and all the rest were white.
So a good mixture.
Yeah, good mixture. Good mixture. Yeah, and we was all saying the same thing. I mean, don't forget, like these Muslims, right? Who there's portion of Muslims out there, I feel, that are tarnishing the image and making it difficult for other Muslims who just want to live peacefully.
I think you're right, but I also think it's up to the peaceful majority to start stepping forward and owning, trying to out those people that are spoiling it for them. I mean, is that? Do you think that's because it's difficult for them? It's going to take a lot of bravery. You think that's what it is?
Yeah.
Or a lack of willingness,
No, I don't think it's a lack of willingness. Could be in certain instances, but it's very hard to step outside of your community and go again and call them out in front of other people, because you're going to get called sellout, coconut, all these types of things, and you may be ousted from your community. But sometimes you just have to do it, man. Like I didn't do this for a while because I was nervous. Because, who am I? I'm not no politician, not like that, but I'm just a guy with an opinion. But I feel now we've reached a stage where it has to be done. You have to get out, you have to use your voice. Otherwise, it's just going to get really bad. There's going to be more violence, chaos, all this stuff. And all that does, when they run a news story against these people attack these people or vice versa. Yeah. And that goes on. All that does, right, is create, they run to the bank, they're laughing all the way to the bank because they got what they wanted. You and me and Paul and Muslims and Sikhs and blacks, what we get is violence, chaos and bloodshed, and we get increased surveillance state with more restrictions on your freedom and speech, all under the disguise of safety against an enemy which they've planted in your head in the first place.
Do you know what?
It's all a game.
Great point, Michael. I'll tell you what, with the recent riots, something that really, really disappointed me and wound me up was this massive...
Sorry, which ones are we talking about?
The recent riots in after, you know,
after the baby girls.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm sorry. I just want to say, if their family watch this, my heart and condolences to you. I couldn't imagine that.
Absolutely.
I just want to say that.
Absolutely.
I just want to say that. I actually genuinely care. You know what I mean? And I know after what I can tell a good person with a good aura. You care as well. You know what I mean? We're not using that to manipulate. We genuinely care. You know what I mean?
But you know who did use it to manipulate, in my opinion, was the media. I mean, where was this so-called resurrection of the 10-year defunct EDL? Where was it? It didn't materialise.
It would not been in existence.
Now, what happened, Michael, was that the newspapers and the media reinvented the EDL.
Yeah.
A load of Muslim guys came out to defend their communities, and what happened? Everyone ended up getting put in jail for something that didn't exist.
Yeah, and that's a perfect example of the point I just made. I stand for, like in the last couple of years, I've managed to develop my faith a lot, and that has taken away a lot of the fears. Now I just don't care anymore. I stand on my own, and I stand for truth, whether it's on this side and that side. And all I want, when you're right, I say you're right. When they're right, I say they're right. I want us to come together. You understand? Because that's what they do. That's what they don't want. Yeah. They don't want us together. They want us fighting.
How do we work together? How do our communities work together to make sure that we come together? So, I mean, we were talking about the 26th.
Yeah.
That events like next month in October, do you think they're important?
Yeah, well, I've not been to an event before, but this is the first one I'll be going to. And I'm going specifically, I'm not going to stand against Islam. I'm not going for that. What I'm going for is this tyranny that we live in, and to call it out with the other people. I want to live in a free society. I'm only going to have probably this one life, and I want to live it in a free way.
Yeah.
I want to live it free. I want to go where I want. I want to do what I want, as long as I'm not inciting violence. You know, democracy is the biggest illusion that's ever been sold. It doesn't exist. You know what I mean? You know that. You say the wrong thing, look what they do to you.
Certainly now.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Of course.
So what are you expecting on the 26th? Do you have any sort of preconceived ideas of what you're going to find?
No. I think it's going to be great. I watched the videos of the last one. What was it called? Freedom or Unite? And it looked like it looked fun. You know what I mean? It looked fun. There was people from everywhere there. There was Muslims there as well.
Yeah.
And Sikhs. You know what I mean? So
this is what everyone needs to understand.
Why don't they tell you that there was Muslims at the rally as well?
Exactly.
Huh?
Yeah. They need to focus on the positives, but all we get in the paper is far
this guy,
right,
far right, big boldies did this or whatever. No.
They're very selective with their photography.
Yeah, very selective.
Very selective.
A bunch of line. Yeah.
But it is. I mean, look, it is what it is. We have to kind of live with it. But I go back to my question a minute ago. You know, how do we unite? How do we unite? How do we get the message to other guys from the Sikh community? Because we've said this before, and I have huge respect for you guys.
Yeah. Well, tell you this, I'm not a spokesman for the Sikh community. I speak for myself. I can't speak on behalf of them. But what I can say is that one thing that we can do to unite is when news people say EDL's coming out. First of all, don't believe it, because it got disbanded a long time ago. And secondly, what you don't do is you don't come out in your own communities in gangs and want beef and want to start a fight. And on the other side, what you don't do is you don't go through the streets chanting Allah, Allah, that doesn't do anything.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
That furthers the gap, and that's what they want.
Yeah.
But if someone came out in a sincere way and genuinely said their concerns in a sincere way, and we had a platform to do that, maybe get a platform together, maybe you or someone else and someone from the other side of things, and you have reasoned debate, calm like brothers. Maybe that will help.
Yeah, have you ever seen the film Braveheart?
Oh, Mel, he's my favourite director. Yeah, he's a boss.
There's a scene in Braveheart that I particularly like, and I think is kind of like what I would like to see. Right, is that there's a scene where two sides walk together. They're getting closer and closer, and it looks like when they meet, they're all going to kick off.
Yeah.
And as they get really close to each other, they all start laughing, put their hands out, and go like this. That is what I would like to see. That would be an amazing scene, right?
That's what we need to do, but you know, there's going to be people on both. The majority of people in each group or faction are okay. They're good citizens, they're working citizens. But the other people will always focus on the ones that cause the trouble. Always, yeah. And it's immigration is always getting out of hand as well.
I was going to say, give me a view on immigration. What do you think?
Well, listen. First of all, and I don't say this just to say it, just to sound like a nice guy. I actually mean it. Yeah. My heart goes out to those people. Yeah. Firstly, I cannot imagine what it would be like to cross that channel or the sea in the dead of the night. It must be like space out there. You know what I mean? The loneliness of that. You know what I mean? It'd be terrifying. So my heart goes out to them, and I wish them safety. But I don't want them here. I don't want them here because, firstly, the resources in this country are dwindling. My mother is only 54 years old, but there's going to be a time when she gets older and she's going to need medical help, right? Back when I was a kid, I remember in '93, I was about 4 years old. You won't believe this, but we had a doctor, Dr. Parnell. He used to come to the house.
Yeah.
He used to come to the house. I made a doctor's appointment about a month ago. I had to wait 2 weeks for it. 2 weeks. It could be dead in that time.
That's quite good, actually. Around there, it's usually like 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, so stuff like that, they're going to come in and all the resources, and also why are they all, this is what I think, right? All of them, most of them are men, yeah? And you got to think to yourself, they got to be married, a lot of them, right? And to protect listen, in all men, I'm not married, but in all men, there's got to be that protective, instinctive nature of protecting your wife and kids, right?
Yeah,
of course, in all men, whether they're white, black, African,
yeah.
Chinese, whatever.
Doesn't matter, yeah.
I can't see why all these men off their own back are coming and leaving their wife and kids behind. Are they doing it off their own back? I don't know. But who knows what's going on? Who knows? And they're coming in here and the NHS is gonna collapse, but maybe that's what they want because the corporate Americans have had their fat, greedy eyes on the NHS for years. Soon we're gonna have to start paying for shit, for stuff. Sorry, I get wound up.
So do you think that, would you say that's the #1 pressing issue in the country right now, or?
Immigration?
Yeah. Or do you think there's other things?
No.
What do you think's first?
Immigration is very, very important. It's a close second, but the first is the actual, can't call them out because I might get done for anti-establishment rhetoric, but the actual structure of how things operate and how it's manipulated. Because they're the ones who plant the seeds for everything. They create all. That's the #1 thing.
We need to get power back to the people, don't we?
Yeah, governments are meant to be afraid of their people. I said on a video the other day, right? You know, to be a civil servant has got to be the most godly type of work you can do.
Yeah.
It has got to be for the most noblest, it's got to be one of the most noblest of professions. Because you're not getting anything out of it. You're helping the world to become a better place. That's what it's meant to be. Not that anymore.
Michael, look, I really appreciate you coming down from Wolverhampton today. If there's anything you want to get off your chest before we go, and give your channel a shout out, by the way.
Oh yeah, so my channel is called Drain the Hate on YouTube, space between each word, or on TikTok, you can get me at Drain the Hate. Or you can email me as well on drainthehate@gmail.com. And what I would say lastly is that we should all start thinking for ourselves, start learning to think critically, protect our children from this degenerate society that we're growing up in, and just care for one another. That's all I got to say, to be honest with you. But that's about it. And listen, thank you for having me on here.
My pleasure.
It's been a pleasure.
My pleasure, my friend. Absolutely. That's what it's all about. Uniting the kingdom.
And I'll try and clean up my vocabulary. I'm brand new. This is my. Please, before you kill me in the comments, this is my first interview ever, so I'll try and clean up
Be gentle.
I'll try and make it more user-friendly, my language.
Thank you very much, mate. I appreciate it.